Yo, what's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at the Montreal Canadiens as the Canadiens continue to have rumors about some potential changes coming into the locker room this summer. So we're going to be going over that today. So the Montreal Canadiens are one of the many teams that have had to use the long-term injured reserve this season. And quite frankly, they have spent the most money in the NHL and actually have the worst results on the ice. They are dead last in the NHL at the making of this video. It's pretty much neck and neck with them, Arizona and Seattle at the bottom. But life's pretty rough at the bottom for the Habs. And there's a couple players that could be on their way out. Maybe it's just a contract for one, and an actual player that's requested a trade out as another. So we'll be going over that. So the first one here is Jeff Petry. Now, this whole Jeff Petry situation has been kind of an evolving thing. It started with the team not being good to start the year. That obviously was a factor. Dominic Ducharme coming in really didn't work the way they had hoped. And honestly, Jeff Petry was getting kind of frustrated with everything with Dominic Ducharme. Was not a fan of him as a head coach. Didn't like the way he ran things. For whatever reason, there wasn't a great relationship between the two of them. And now we've started to see, now that Marty St. Louis is behind the bench, maybe that started to change a little bit for Jeff Petry. Yet the Montreal Canadiens at this point are seeming like they want the trade more so than Jeff Petry, even though Petry had requested a trade at the end of last year. So this is what we're hearing, and this is from Stu Cowan. The Canadiens will try to move defenseman Jeff Petry again this offseason. It obviously makes sense. Again, when we talk about the Canadiens, I've made a couple videos and they all do good. And it's, again, that's the Habs fan base. You guys are very devoted and you like your videos. But I've talked a lot about how this could be a very interesting summer for the Habs because they have, again, you look at their team right now. Jeff Gorton comes in, Kent Hughes comes in, and they made some noise at the trade deadline. A lot of fireworks. They were pretty active. Definitely one of, if not the most active team. You look, they traded out Brett Kulak. They traded out Andrew Hammond. They traded out Arturi Lehkonen. They traded out Ben Sherratt. They traded out Tyler Toffoli. They made some moves. So going into this summer, at the end of the day, what did a lot of that do? Well, a lot of those trades were bigger name contracts that alleviate them a little bit. Now, again, with that all said, they are still spending the most out of any team in the NHL. Over $92.5 million Jeff Molson is putting into this team that is dead last in the league. Kind of crazy how that works. But especially a guy like Jeff Petry, he's got 4 years left on a no movement clause. Right shot defenseman, so teams are going to be in the market for that. Always looking at right shot defensemen. He's 34 years old, which is not the most attractive. And again, that contract just started. He is in the first year of that 4-year deal. $6.25 million per season. Pretty expensive for Jeff Petry. And he submits a 15-team no-trade list. So that's basically half the league he says he will not get traded to. And he could very much, teams that would be interested, right? We've heard a lot of rumors about maybe the Dallas Stars being interested. Put them on the list. If he really wants to stay in Montreal, he could do that. I think there will be a little bit of both sides wanting to get something done here. But the fact that there's 4 years left on that deal does make it a little bit less attractive if you're the Montreal Canadiens because you're probably going to have to retain salary in that sort of deal to maybe get it to $2 million. Let's say they eat up 25 or 30% of that salary. That's going to still be a lot going the other way. And again, the whole point of the trade is so they move out cap space, right? So now you're just eating up $2 million. That kind of hurts what the Canadiens are trying to do. So that's a big one. David Savard, it sounds like they're going to keep him. Again, he's making pretty good money too, though, but definitely a lot less. $3.5 million. You have to re-sign Alex Romanov this summer. That's going to be a big one. They got to figure that one out. Trying to look at some guys that are coming up with contracts. I mean, Jesse Yelenin, Cole Caulfield are next summer. That's really not too big. Michael Pezzetta, if they decide they want to keep him around, he kind of reminds me of a younger Brendan Gallagher with the way he plays. So that'll be kind of interesting. I know they've looked at moving out guys like Gallagher, Hoffman, but those are big contracts, and they are just recently signed, like 6 years left, 4 years left. Those are not going to be easy to move. And again, if you're talking about retaining salary on those deals, that's going to be even more difficult. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now with this whole situation in Montreal. And then obviously the other one that we've heard a little bit, I made a pretty good video about that before the trade deadline, is Shea Weber, the captain of the Habs. The Canadiens came close to moving Shea Weber at the deadline. They'll try again this summer, and that was from L.A. La Riviere. I don't know who that is, but I'm sure you guys could correct that. So a lot of you guys in the comments for that video were like, well, why doesn't just Shea Weber retire and join the team in a front office role? So that way they don't have to worry about the salary cap and kind of go to Robida Island, right, that the Maple Leafs have done in the past. The problem is with that, because of the amount of time, well, if he, even a year before that contract ends, he has to wait till the end of that contract to officially, quote-unquote, retire. And the reason for that is not necessarily that's going to affect the Canadiens. It's the team that signed Shea Weber to that massive contract. And if you guys don't remember, Shea Weber signed a massive contract, and that was part of the whole situation with him coming to Montreal. Was they knew when they were getting Shea Weber, it was going to be those first 3 years of Shea Weber they were going to get. That's what they were paying for in that Subban deal. Anything after that, it was going to be a burden for them. And you look right now, mind you, a 14-year contract, $110 million. Absolutely insane. But that was a David Poile signing at $7.8 million per season for 14 years, right? So the thing is, and a lot of that was signing bonus heavy early on. The first 4 years of that contract, a $13 million signing bonus. The final, the next years, 5 and 6 were an $8 million signing bonus. All that is gone now. Now it is just base salary. So he's making $6 million salary this year. And the final 4 years of this contract, he's making $3 million next year. And then the following 3 years up until the end of the deal, he's making $1 million base salary. So that's actually advantageous in terms of moving on from his contract. If they sent him to Arizona, money-wise, Arizona wouldn't have to pay all that much. Now, again, it gets them to the salary cap floor, which they did in another trade with the Winnipeg Jets. They acquired the contract of Brian Little. He may play again, maybe not. But they took on that contract from Kevin Cheveldayoff and the Jets. And that's kind of what took this deal out of the running for the Coyotes. The Coyotes were thinking, we have no incentive. Why are we going to make that deal now? We'll look back at that again in the summer. So, again, just something to consider. I think the Coyotes will ultimately end up making that deal for Shea Weber. And it ends up benefiting both sides. I could see this being a situation kind of like the deal with the Jets where, okay, the Coyotes get to the cap floor, and you also have the Habs moving out some salary. And like I've said, I think the Habs are looking to do something this summer. And you move out that salary, it's going to allow the Canadiens to do something this summer, and you have totally new management, new brass behind the bench, and up in the rafters. I could see them looking to make some moves this summer. And I'm very interested to see exactly what they do. But these are the things we have to look at. And you look at the amount of money there, that's almost $15 million in cap space freed up between Shea Weber and Jeff Petry being off the roster. I'm sure that's something that the Canadiens are looking to get into. But let me know what you guys think, especially my Habs fans. In the comment section down below, what do you think of the Montreal Canadiens maybe moving out both of Shea Weber and Jeff Petry's contracts this summer? Do you think that's the best move for the team moving forward? Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.